So, daylight savings time. We're a little bit late starting because I got up this morning and thought I was way ahead of myself and I was way behind thanks to the time change. So, right?
Yeah.
It feels like today's going to fly. So, let's get right to it. I'm chatting today with my neighbor, Frances. Frances, thank you so much for coming next door.
You're very welcome. It was so far to come.
I know. It was a few steps over here, I know. But, and it's beautiful now. We have sunshine outside. It's a great day. And we're chatting because, Frances and David next door have some really a million interesting stories to tell. But the one that I'd like to talk about today is the fact that they kind of later in life decided to adopt a child, a very young child. How old was Ugwaks when you adopted him, Frances?
Well, first of all, prior to getting him, I'm going to tell you about what I did.
Okay.
I had a dream 7 nights in a row, the same dream. I kept visualizing a baby's face, a little black-haired baby with dark complexion. It was the same baby every night for 7 days. Then on the 8th day, I got a message from a dear friend of mine saying there was this native boy that they needed to find a home for, preferably with a native family so that he wouldn't lose his culture. He'd be raised in the traditions. And my husband is what's considered an elder, a knowledge keeper, a singer, a medicine man. He exudes the culture. And we live it. So at that point, the baby was a month old when we found out about it. Through a long process of me not backing down, me knocking heads with CAS, being told that this baby was not native, which really upset me because as I told the worker, babies do not come out with status cards attached to them. All you had to do was look at him and you knew he was native. So he was in a foster home, which was not very good for him. She was force feeding him on a schedule, not letting him sleep, getting up because she had things to do. Now, that's not how I raised my kids. My kids, when it was time to eat, they'd wake up, they'd tell you they were hungry. You knew. Just because you had an appointment didn't mean you got them up and force-fed them. She even had extra holes in the nipple so that he'd eat faster. He was gulping his food.
And how old, if we back up for a second, Frances, when you started having dreams about this little dark-haired boy or child, how old were you and David at that point?
I was 56 and David was 65.
And had you discussed adopting at that point before? Had you thought about having children?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But because of the things that have happened to all these native babies, if anybody's aware, there's a 60s scoop, there's the residential schools, and right now, it's not hard to do the research, there's over 10,000 babies that have been found on the residential schools, their bodies. So it's very heart-wrenching, and knowing that, and CAS does not have a good track record with native babies. They tend to place them in non-native homes, which some of them are good. I'm not saying they're not, but at the same time, the babies are not raised in their culture. So we thought it was very important that we could at least save one. And one is a lot. So we ended up fighting for him.
How did you find out about him, first of all, Frances?
From my girlfriend that sent me a Facebook message.
Okay.
We used to work together at the Friendship Center in Kingston. She worked with the prenatal. I know the baby's mom personally. I don't see her at all, but when we went through the proceedings, she didn't even want to read the document. All she wanted was to sign it and get out of there because the baby was coming to Frances and David. She knew he'd be well loved and raised with respect and like he would want for nothing. So she just basically wanted to sign it. The day we went to court, she flipped out in court, but the documents were already signed. And I panicked when she flipped out, and my worker and lawyer said, don't worry about it. Everything's already signed. He's yours. So just before this, we were battling with it, and he has an English name. I've never used it on him because the day I found out at home that we were getting him, David knew on the way home from work because we believe in signs. David come home. On the way home, he saw a rainbow with eagles flying through it. So that's why we named him Yoyadelo Agwaks,
Wow.
which means rainbow eagle. And now his name is Agwaks.
Yeah.
That's
perfect.
all we call him.
Yeah.
And he knows what it means. And he'll tell people if they look at him when he says Agwaks, he says, it means eagle. So like he's 6 years old now. It's been an experience, energy draining. I'm not going to say we're full of energy. We're not. By the time he goes to bed at night, it's not long. David's following him. And I stay up generally till about 10. Because if I go to bed early, I'm up at 3 a.m. So I stay up till 10. And then, but by 6 o'clock in the morning, he's up and raring to go.
He has so much energy. I can attest to that. I've had him as a visitor a couple of times. And he is just, he goes, I mean, he's just like a streak, Frances.
Yeah.
I admire you guys so much because the thought of just having a child with me all the time that anytime he's been here, and I'm not his parent, so it's different for me. Of course, I panic about different things that you guys probably wouldn't because you're used to him. But my gosh, he's just like, he'll be holding my hand one second, and the next second I'm like, where's Agwaks? He's like he's running in the opposite direction. Yeah. So
when we first moved here,
yeah,
I put him down for a nap the day we were moving.
And how old was he when you moved next door to me?
3.
Okay.
I put him upstairs, closed the door. They couldn't fit the couch in the back door. So they moved to the front door to do it. Well, unbeknownst to us, we were standing at the back discussing how it was going to be done because we had friends moving the stuff for us. And a woman that was walking down the street comes around the corner holding his hand. Is this little fella yours? Yeah. How did you get him? Little bugger, because they had the couch propped up in the front porch. He went under it and out the front door.
Wow.
The porch. So immediately, one of the first things we did was get locks for every one of the doors. Hooks that he couldn't reach. We hooked him up, and because he's an escape artist.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally can see that.
And he has adopted you. From day one, you were Aunt Becca. And that's it. There's nobody like his Aunt Becca.
He's such a lovable child. He's so lovable. You can't not love Agwaks the minute you meet him. No matter what he says or does or how fast he runs from you, you can't help but love him.
Yeah.
But certainly it must have made a difference when he started school, Frances, in terms of you and David having a little bit more time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's so much easier. And he absolutely loves school. He said when he comes in, he's going to tell you about getting his tongue stuck on the gate.
I saw something about that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently what happened, he loves icicles, anything ice. He went to put his lips on the icicle and he missed the icicle and it caught on the fence.
Uh-oh. So
he ended up stuck. He comes home from school that night. I already knew because the teacher texted me that, Mom, I got some terrible news. I said, really? What happened? He said, my tongue stuck to the fence. And he said, Mr. Scott's a superhero. I said, he is. Why? Because he told me, don't move my head. Because if I do, I'll bleed. My tongue will bleed. So he held my head. And Miss Bruner went and got water and she poured it on and my tongue popped off.
Wow.
So the way he describes things, he's very articulate. His vocabulary, the teachers were really impressed at how good his vocabulary is. You don't have to guess what Agwaks is thinking. He can make himself understood very well. But I did have a battle regarding the schools. I didn't figure there'd be a battle at all. I had to fight to get him. I didn't think I'd have to fight to get him in school. Originally, we wanted him in the Quinte Mohawk School on the res. And apparently there's this clause, because you live off res, your child can't go there.
And we should explain that's about 10 minutes away from here, right?
Yeah, it's not
that
far.
Yeah.
10, 15 the most. And I found out there was this new thing, reciprocal education, I think, anyway, it's an acronym.
Right.
Basically, it was made specifically for this purpose, that the children that lived off res would be able to go on res. And they would supply transportation. Well, dear friend of ours who was handling it for us, his mom passed. And in the Mohawk culture, when there's a death in the family, there's a 10-day feast if you're traditional, which means you get 10 days off work. He took 2 weeks off, and in that time, they did an amendment to the clause, which meant the school had the choice to accept him or not.
What timing? Wow.
So, needless to say, he's not there. He's in Prince Charles School here, right in Napanee, and he's thriving. But because of the fight that I had, he was late starting. He didn't start until October 25th. But he's loving it. He's doing great. The teachers absolutely love him. He missed the school picture, the first one, but he was there for the retakes. So, as traditional people, we wanted something different. You can get it.
Okay. You knew what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's why I brought it up.
Okay.
To show his culture, for him to be proud of it. And he loves wearing, you can show it.
There he is.
The hat is the Gastoa, is what we call it.
Okay.
And his ribbon shirt. Now, this picture was given to Aunt Becca at Christmas. That was her Christmas present, and she cried when she got it.
I love this picture. Oh my gosh, I love it.
And so anyway, the teacher, we had to send the Gastoa in a bag and ask the teacher to not let him have it until it was actually time for the pictures, because there's eagle feathers on it, and there's a whole teaching around eagle feathers. They're not to be played with. They're very sacred to us. The teacher absolutely loved it. And now that they're finally lifting the masks, I'm assuming very shortly that David is going to go into his class and do a teaching on the eagle feathers. Awesome. Because she asked at the time if we would, but because of COVID, they're not letting anybody else in the school. So now that they're going to be lifting the masks on the 21st, so I'm assuming sometime in April or May, we're going to go in and do a teaching on the eagle feather.
That's amazing.
Like the teacher said, baby steps.
Yeah. So even though it would have been great to get him into the Mohawk school, at the same time, it's kind of neat, I think, Frances, that Ugwak's being here at a school here in Napanee, the Mohawk culture is being introduced possibly to a lot more kids than it would be otherwise.
And they're still working on if they can find 9 other students 9 schools combined in the whole school that want to take Mohawk, they will hire a Mohawk teacher.
Oh, cool. 9 schools within the school board. 9
children,
okay.
Students
okay.
in that school.
Okay.
Then they will hire one.
And do you know how many Mohawk students there might be there now? Not
I
sure.
don't know, because it goes to grade 8, right?
And
so that they got to have it. But what they said they do, they combine all of them together.
Okay.
Not that it had to be so many from each grade.
Okay.
They do everything, and they do it according to what they know. Now, Ugwak's is ahead with the language. As you're going to see when we end this, David is going to be coming over with Ugwak's, and they're bringing the water drum over, and Ugwak's wants to sing for Auntie Becca.
I can't wait.
Now, Rebecca has heard when there's a thunderstorm going on. He will go out on the deck. It's downpouring in the summer, and David always says a prayer and sings a song for the thunder beings to thank them for coming, because water is life. Without water,
That's
we
true.
wouldn't survive. So he always gives a thank you, and we've taught Ugwucks too. Now, you look out, they're generally in their shorts or their underwear, David, and Ugwucks is naked. He doesn't like clothes in the summertime. You can attest to it.
Well, I don't
Rebecca.
either, really, but
I wish we could do what he does, but society inhibits us. But they're literally dancing on the deck, singing the song. And I know the one morning Rebecca had recorded it.
it was
you caught the
beautiful.
early-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so soothing.
Yeah, David has such a calming voice. I've had a lot of people say, I love his singing, but oh my God, he could put me to sleep just listening to it. It's so comforting. So what Ugwucks wants to do, he's going to sing what he calls Sadanakuni, which is a song that we sing in thanks for the food. It's just one verse. These songs can have up to 15 verses, 20 verses, but he knows one by heart, so that's the one he wants to do. And he wants to sing 1 to 10 in Mohawk for Auntie Becca. We told him it was going to be recorded, so he's all excited to come over. He literally pushed me out the door because he knew Mommy was coming over to talk to Auntie Becca. I didn't say what we were doing, just that Mommy was coming to talk to Auntie Becca. So he knew sooner I got out, the sooner he'd be able to come. And he's all excited because this time he's not going to be in the gazebo. He's coming in Auntie Becca's house.
The big house.
The big
house.
house.
The gazebo's the little house. This is the big house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has it been a challenge, Frances, living off reserve at all? I know that you and David are so dedicated to your culture.
Mhm.
Are there challenges living off reserve for you, or is it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if so, what are the challenges?
Our home reserve is Akwesasne,
Mhm.
which is across from Cornwall. David's family is one of the most traditional families on the res. He comes from a family of 15 kids. They're all still alive, so
Yeah.
thank God for that. We've been blessed. Because he was raised by his great-grandparents, his grandparents, his mom and dad, all kinds of aunties that were fluent. That's why David still has the language. The challenge for us is getting home for the ceremonies. David got in a bad accident almost 2 years ago now, and he's developed a panic about transports. So it makes it really hard to drive from here to Cornwall.
Yeah.
And he gets really bad anxiety. So what we do instead, we do our own ceremonies here. I will cook the food. David will do the pipe ceremony, the songs. But every morning we pray in the language. We do an opening prayer, and at the end of the day, we close. So Ugwucks knows how to do this. We smudge every morning. Smudging is basically our four basic medicines: tobacco, cedar, sweetgrass, and sage. And we set fire to it. It's in a shell, and we let it blow out, let the flame go, and we fan it with a feather, and we cleanse ourselves with it. The smoke goes over us. It cleanses us. And Ugwucks absolutely loves to do it. You light a smudge, he's right there, and he's got to do his first. And he's picked up what I do. I love the smell of the burning medicine. And my first reaction is, mmm. So as soon as he does it, he goes over top of it. Mmm. Like I said, he has really blossomed. Prior to COVID, we were going and doing a lot of powwows and socials, gatherings, ceremonies. He got so upset a year and a half ago when David went and bought some hide to make an outfit for a friend, and the leggings and the breech and the vest and everything. Ugwucks went with him to Tyendinaga, to Randy's, to buy some. And he flipped out. Literally, he come home, he was in tears. I want a powwow. The baby, you can't. And the only way we could explain it to him was everybody was sick. As long as everybody's sick, we can't get together. No sense explaining COVID, because at that point he had no idea what it was. And that's why we couldn't go to the stores. We couldn't go anywhere. People were wearing masks. So we had to put it in terms for him. Well, he literally come home bawling for about 10 minutes before I calmed him down. He cried himself to sleep because we couldn't go to powwow.
Because he dances too, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have some hide at the house that a dear friend of mine sent to me with some medicines as well. And our very first social this year is going to be April 30th in Oshawa.
So it's coming up. That's good.
So
things are opening
he's
up.
calling it powwow.
He must be so excited.
He is, and he knows Daddy's going to make him the leggings and the breech cloth. So he's all excited. At first, when I told him leggings, he didn't remember that that's what we called them. He was thinking winter leggings, and he wasn't wearing winter leggings to dance. That's all there was to it. I said, no, out of the hide. Daddy's going to make you some.
Yeah.
So he was okay, because the ones he wore 2.5 years ago, he's definitely outgrown them. So Daddy's going to make him, as he does, David makes all our hide outfits. So he's all excited for that. So things are finally opening up. He's going to be one happy boy when he gets to sing and dance and drum with Daddy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So the future moving forward, I mean, when you adopt a child Ugwuck's age, I mean, you guys seem to have settled into it now, and you have a routine, and it feels like to me, Frances, all those sort of your cultural traditions are things that have probably helped you.
Well, they have. Like
the smudging when you talk, like that's all.
And the other thing too is on the powwow trail, and using Rebecca as an example, extended family is what we call it. Literally, I have people, when we go to a powwow, especially when he was a baby, I had this one woman, I'm stealing your baby, and she would literally come, scoop him up, and take him away for an hour, and then she'd bring him back. I mean, these, I didn't just let anybody take them. I had to know them really well, and we considered them extended family to start off with. And we've missed them a lot, but they are so glad it's finally opening up that we're going to be able to see each other. Facebook has been a godsend that people have been able to see him grow, because I make a point of showing pictures and different things that he does and sayings and videos, and I keep it alive so that people, like, they're just amazed at how big he's getting, because they remember him from 3 years ago. 2.5, 3 years ago. And they hear him talking and singing now and drumming. Anything cultural, I love to put up there for him. And everybody is just amazed. They can't wait to actually, like this social, April 30th will be the first one in a long time. And he's all excited because he's got 2 Auntie Kims coming, Auntie Susan's coming, Auntie Sandra's coming, like all kinds of uncles. And what we've always done with them, I grew up where it didn't matter if they were related or not, you're my aunt. And uncles, I never called people by their first name. As an adult, my Aunt Pauline, it was, you're married now, you can call me Pauline. No, I can't. It just doesn't sound right. And it doesn't. So we raised him the same way. Every man's an uncle, and that we trust. And every woman is Auntie. But you're not Auntie. You're just Aunt Becca. He specifically tells me that. She's not Auntie Becca. She's Aunt Becca.
Well, I love him and you guys. And of course, I do feel like your family. And it's the idea of sometimes, I've had neighbors throughout my life because I've moved so many times. And sometimes I haven't always had the time or been too busy to get to know a neighbor here or there along the way. And I had an experience when I lived in PEI when I had a neighbor. I lived in a duplex, and really never took the time to get to know her. And she was a very quiet, timid person. And
Right.
I wrote about it after, because when I was actually moving out of that place, I had dropped a little note in her mailbox to say, I just want to say, it's been great being your neighbor, and I'm sorry we never really got to know each other. And she sent me back this amazing note. I always felt that she didn't like me as a neighbor, that she felt my boys were little then, that maybe she felt we were loud or something, because I never heard from her. She didn't really speak to me that often if we passed in public. And when I moved out, she sent me this incredible card saying, we're going to miss you and the boys so much. We've loved having you as neighbors. And
you'd never know.
I never would have known. I thought, look what I missed, in those 4 years that I lived there. Alternatively, I did get to know a neighbor on the opposite side, and we were very close, and we still are very close. And so I'm so happy that we've had the chance to get to know each other. But it takes sometimes that.
All you did was introduce yourself. We introduced ourselves, and Ugwuck started calling her Aunt Becca. And that was it. And Rebecca gets a welcoming once the weather's nice and we're outside on the back deck all the time.
Yeah.
She comes home for lunch prior to him being in school, and it's, hi, Aunt Becca. Nobody's as excited to see her as he is.
I can, that is true. Nobody has been excited, to see me the way Ugwuck is.
He just absolutely loves her, and he said he's the man in her life. He brings her so much happiness. Knowing that you're single, we decided to get Aunt Becca a plant for Valentine's Day.
I can get that too.
From Ugwuck's.
Yeah.
Only because we wanted to make Aunt Becca feel special.
I still have the heart in it.
So we went and we picked it up, and he wanted to know when he could give it to her. I said, well, we'll see if Aunt Becca's home when we get home. As we got home, she was outside. So it worked out perfect. Aunt Becca, I got something for you. And we handed him the plant, the basket, and he run right to her with it. It was a very special moment.
Well,
and it's little things like that you do for each other that very much appreciated. Like I said, my husband got in a car accident there, and his back has been sore. So yesterday, she came over and she shoveled around the van for us and shoveled the back deck off for us. So those things mean a lot. It's all these little things that we do for each other. I made homemade relish and sent some over. Different things just little things. And throughout the year, there's nobody like Aunt Becca, because Aunt Becca doesn't forget Easter, Christmas, Halloween, you name all the holidays. Ugwuck knows Aunt Becca's bringing something for him. And he was really concerned this Christmas, because when we gave Rebecca the picture, she opened it up with Ugwuck right there, and she started crying. Ugwuck, Mommy, Aunt Becca's crying. Why? Because you're only supposed to cry when you're sad.
Oh, yeah.
He had never experienced happy tears.
Yeah.
So he was all concerned. So when we gave you the flowers, he knew we were giving them to you. Is Aunt Becca going to cry again? Because he never forgets anything.
Yeah.
He, like I said, he's been a charmer. He knows how to charm the women. He's very grateful, very polite, more so for everybody else than he is for us. As every parent knows, your kids are always better for other people. But it was one of the best decisions that we've made. We have plans for him in the event, because of our age, in the event that if anything ever happened to both me and David at the same time. The one that we asked to take Ugwuck's is Rain, David's daughter. Because her man, he's awesome. We absolutely love him. He's Seneca. He hunts, he fishes, he goes to the longhouse, he does the ceremonies, he knows the songs, he does the sweats. He's all around where we know Ugwuck would still have the culture and still be loved and trusted. So we still have to make the will. It's still verbal now, but that is the one thing that we've already agreed upon, that we want him with Cliff and Rain. And they have a little son, a little grandson, Bison. He turned 1 December 2nd. So it's just something that would be ideal.
Well, it must be so reassuring for you, and that is so important. I mean, for parents of any age to have that plan in place, but excuse me, especially for you guys.
Yeah.
And you have a good plan, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ugwux does have more siblings. He's got 2 that are older. Ugwux is 6. His 2 older brothers are 10 and 9. And he's got 2 younger brothers. One is Cade, that he sees not as much as I want to. Prior to COVID, he was seeing him more. But now that it's opening up again, he'll be seeing him more. And he's got a younger half brother that is 2 now. But the only one that we do see is Cade. The other 2 older couldn't be bothered with him. And the younger one was adopted out to a non-native family that has no culture, connections, nothing. And she's too busy. She's I heard she was a medical secretary in Kingston. So anyway, he has a really great bond with his little brother, Cade. I actually had the opportunity, I could have had 2 boys instead of 1, because December 29th, not quite a year after Ugwux was born, I got a call from CAS asking me if I wanted this baby boy that was coming. They didn't have a home for him, and being I had his brother, I could get him. I had to hold, it was hard to say no, because I knew how much work Ugwux, how much energy he was taking out of us. To add another one to the mix, no. I was fortunate with Ugwux. He was sleeping his nights from day 1 when we got him. Come to find out, Cade didn't. He was up every 2-3 hours. And that with Ugwux wouldn't have worked. Now, I had got a message from a woman. I do not accept Facebook friend requests if I don't know them. And her mom, who I knew, contacted me and said it was her daughter that was interested in adopting Cade. Oh, well, okay. Well, then I accepted her right away, and we talked for hours, and she did get him. He's been adopted by her, and he's thriving. The reason she loves it that we get together is because Ugwux teaches Cade the culture.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They do have, the grandma's Métis, so Crystal's Métis, and part Chinese. So it's quite the mix, but I'm telling you, awesome, awesome, awesome people. And she loves the culture. We actually had a naming ceremony for Cade as well. His name is something to do with spring trees or something. Anyway, they loved it, and she said she's never been, that was the first ceremony she'd ever been to. And it was basically like a christening, the closest thing I could compare it to. But she says, I've never been to a christening where I felt all these emotions. You could feel the ancestors around us and stuff. So it's, like she said, the culture is such a beautiful thing, and she loves it, because when Ugwux gets there, Sago, Cade, right away, which is hello.
Sago?
Sago.
Okay, I remember that.
Sago, Skanagoa.
Okay.
Hello, how are you? And when he leaves, it's Onagiwahe, or Ona, which is, it's not goodbye. It's till we meet again. We never say goodbye. So just little things like that he's picking up. Or he'll tell him Sanjo, which means sit. So things like that Cade automatically knows what it is now.
That's
from
great.
them spending time together.
Yeah.
We've given them CDs of, we have one CD of David singing that we gave her a copy of that, and different CDs that we've recommended, so that he can listen to that as well. Now we have a CD, DVD in the van, and Ugwux loves to listen to it. It's only 20 minutes long, but it's an elder that has since passed on. He's giving teachings about Maid of the Mist and different things. I think there's 4 teachings in it. But in it, he starts speaking Oneida, the opening prayer, then he goes to English, talks about the ceremony, and they're singing in the background. Ugwux can literally tell you every word, every song, from the beginning of that CD to the end.
Wow.
And he tells David, Legany, be quiet. It's my turn. Because if David sings the songs, Ugwux can't hear the CD.
Right.
So basically, we sit there. And it's so nice to listen to that he knows. Because Oneida is not, it's Mohawk, but there's 7 different dialects.
Right.
So ours is from Akwesasne. So ours is even different than Tyettenangus.
Right.
So, like, for example, Akwesasne, Legany would be spelled Rakeni. The R's are L sounds.
Okay.
The K's are G sounds.
Mhm.
Here, they pronounce it Rugany. They pronounce the R.
Okay.
So, like, little differences
Yeah.
like that, but they are big differences. And then Oneida is different too. So it's nice that we're introducing them to different dialects, so that, like, Cliff, when he comes, he speaks, like I said, we say, Sago Skanagoa. Skoden is what they say. So just a little different, but you still know what they're saying. So it's really good that they do all this, that we keep him in the culture.
Absolutely. Mark Stevenson says, great topic. Thank you, Mark. I want to remind anyone watching that if you'd like to make a comment or if you have a question for Frances, please let us know. Mark also says, thank you for giving these children their heritage. Very nice. Thank you, Mark. Because that is so important, and that is something amazing.
The thing is that really got to us is the amount of suicides in teens, because these children have been misplaced and murdered, and so much that I could just start crying over it. But we didn't want that to happen to Ugwux. We wanted him to know a loving family, not to be struggling with his identity when he's a teenager. That's why we've always pushed his identity with the school picture alone as an example, doing the teachings, singing the songs, all of it. It's ceremonies. He does that. We've had the odd little ceremony in the backyard, took a little fire pit and did it. When my brother passed a year ago, November, we had a little ceremony in the back. I cut all my hair off. My hair was down to my waist. And that in itself is a teaching. The belief is you cut your hair off to the fire, it rises, and it follows him to give him strength in his next part of his journey. So there's a whole teaching around that. But Ugwux was right there with it. We explained to him everything. Now, on September 30th, this is Orange Shirt Day, Every Child Matters, Ugwux wanted to know why he was wearing an orange shirt. So I explained to him the significance in terms that he would understand. And I basically told him, I said, honey, kids your age, little boys and little girls, were taken away from their families. I didn't say who took them. I didn't say where they went. Just that they were taken away and their mummies and daddies never saw them again. So he decided then and there, it actually made my heart sing, because he come out with, Mommy, when I grow up, I'm going to be a galito, which is a police officer.
Wow.
And I said, why? Because I'm going to go and find all those kids and bring them home to their mummies and daddies. Now, this is the pureness, the innocence of a child that wants to right the wrongs.
Yeah.
So he understood. Now, they just had the anti-bullying last It's last week at school. And they were supposed to wear a pink shirt. Well, Ugwux doesn't own a pink shirt, and I figured you can't get any more important than Every Child Matters. So he wore his orange shirt with Every Child Matters on it, and he told the teacher why. That every child matters and nobody should be bullied. Like, you got to be nice to everybody. So it's things like that. I don't necessarily go with the flow with the pink bit, but it encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Is why we do it. And just periodically we'll just put it on him just so that it comes to the forefront. Because right now the country got all upset when there was 219 babies' bodies found in BC. It's over 10,000 now, and you barely hear anything about it anymore. And this is what really tears at our hearts, that there's over 10,000, as far as I'm concerned, 5-year-olds or babies that they found. And the number's still mounting. Like, I have absolutely no idea. And an apology, what the government gave, is not enough. These families are generational traumatized because as the ones that did make it through the system, they were stripped of their culture. They knew who they were. They went back home, but they didn't fit in. So a lot of them turned to alcohol and drugs as a way to try and get through it. There was a lot of suicides. But if you grow up not getting hugs, not getting kisses, not knowing how to show love, but they had children. Those children were raised not loved, but not feeling it.
Right.
Because the parents didn't know how to do it. So it's called intergenerational trauma is what we're still going through. Because it's not very long ago the last school was closed. And they're still finding them. Which, like I said, it breaks my heart. I've got a girlfriend from the 60s school. She lives in Ottawa. She was originally from Saskatchewan, and she was sold for $10, her and her brother. They actually found a copy of the receipt. Native children were sold for $10 in the 60s. They didn't have the battle I had to go through to get a Native child, because they just wanted to assimilate them into society. So there's a lot I could fill in about that, but that is just one of the reasons, a big reason why we got Ugwux. Now there was just a couple of people comment on, why would you even think of doing this at your age? We don't know how long we're going to have. David's family has real good longevity. His great-grandmother lived to be 104, his dad 93. Like, even if 20, 30 years, he's going to know he's loved.
Yeah.
He's got a family that loves him, extended family that loves him. Everybody's got his back. Was not going to be lost to the system. That was our biggest thing. So that was the main reason for doing it. Now, very shortly, he's going to be coming in the door, and you're going to hear Aunt Becca. Because I know he wanted to come over with me, and we told him he had to wait for a little bit because I had to talk to Aunt Becca first.
Well, I've got his ketchup chips ready to go. He likes ketchup chips. I always like to, when Ugwux does visit, I love to at least have a treat that I know he will appreciate. So I have the ketchup chips ready to go.
Well, he informed me, Aunt Becca always has goldfish. I said, no, this time you asked for ketchup chips when she asked you. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I think the goldfish are gone, because my son Carter also likes a lot of the treats that Ugwux likes, even though Carter is like 20 years old.
Yeah.
So they get eaten up quickly, any that are left over after.
Oh, yeah, nothing wastes. Yeah. But he will be here any minute, and Rebecca's left the back door open. So they're just going to walk right in, and you'll see what I mean about he has quite the personality. I'm going to move, and we'll sit.
I was going to say, he's going to need some room here.
And David right here. And like I said, the Oscar Diggany will be 1 to 10. He'll sing, and then he'll sing Sadanakuni, which is one verse in a song that we sing to thank the food for us.
And are these things that David has taught him? The
Oh, yeah.
water drum, and those are things that David
yeah.
passed down. Yeah.
Yeah. So like even when we're out on the hammock, those are 2 little songs that David would sing with them. He'd swing them to it. When we first got him, the very first meeting, we had discussed it before we went, and that David would hold him on his chest, here he comes, and sing to him. He sang to him, and he just looked up with those big brown eyes. Come on in. And he just settled right in.
Yeah.
He knew he was home.
Yeah.
That he was left. Yeah, take your boots off.
I
And
can't
Becca's waiting for
imagine
ya.
him having better parents. Hi, bud. Come on in. We can't wait to see you.
And I did do his hair up. It is long. We trimmed it, but that's it. He's got a long braid in it. And because again, one of the beliefs is long hair is your strength.
Yes.
So we've never cut that. The teachings, everything. There's a whole story about.
Yeah. Come on in, guys. Just be careful
here,
with the
Becca.
cords there.
Watch you don't trip.
Don't trip on the cord. There he is.
Okay, come on,
Hi,
you sit in the middle.
Come on and sit in the middle.
What does Aunt Becca get? Hugs in.
Hi, bud. How are you?
Good.
Good. Come on, sit down right here with me and Mom. So, how are you doing today?
It was great.
It was great. It's been a great day.
Yeah.
And Dad's here too. Hi, David.
Hi.
Sago.
Yeah.
Something new I've learned today that I can now
Yeah.
say to you guys when I
Good.
see you, Sago.
Yep.
Now,
So,
you gonna sing a song now? Okay. Which one do you want to do first? I explained about the food song.
Sanakuni.
Sadanakuni.
okay.
When you're gonna cook, as
Yeah.
a woman, that's your power. Mind, body, and spirit is the food. That
Okay.
puts everything through that's spiritual.
Okay. I almost feel like Dad should sit here beside our box for this.
You wanna-
Oh.
And then everybody can see David too. Come on over here. Mom and Dad, and then we see Eggbox
Yeah. Is
too.
that okay, honey? Okay.
I think that's a good idea. And then David can explain
Oh,
all
yeah.
these
You're gonna
things
have
there. We
little
can
bits of
see.
tobacco all over the floor.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's all right. I got a vacuum cleaner.
It's a small drum.
Okay.
I just made that yesterday for
You
him.
did?
It's
Yeah.
a medicine stick because it's
Yeah.
little.
Oh wow, that's
With
good.
Louisa.
This is actually Ugbox's water drum. He's learning
Yeah.
to play it.
Learn how to hold it properly around the navel
Yes.
of the drum.
Okay.
When it's going to have a birth of a song or teaching.
Okay.
So are we ready? Sadanakuni?
Okay.
Wait, Daddy's going to go like this for a while, okay?
We gotta wake the drum up.
Then Daddy got to touch the drum 4 times. Good.
Okay.
Ready? Satanekune, 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 ganatara uwa, ganatara uwa, ganatara uwa. You're what the wet nuni, you're what the wet nuni, you're what the wet nuni, wa, nuni, wa, nuni, wa, hey, now.
Okay, now let's go dig it in.
Ready? Same thing.
Count 1 to 10.
Clear your thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oskattegani asakayeri wish. Kaya nata dego yo. Kone yo yeri hana.
Wow, that was so good.
That's actually liked it.
Do you like it?
I love it. Oh my gosh, thank you
Want to
so
sing
much.
just one song for the women that are putting this together nicely? For your yonder? Okay. Okay. Clear your thoughts and what they going to you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You liked it?
I loved it. Thank you so much, Ugbox and Dad and Mom. Like for me to be able to hear it and see
Yeah.
you guys make your music rather than just hear it from next door is so much better. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hey, Mom.
that's a gift for.
You got ketchup chips?
I do have ketchup chips. I have a whole bag of ketchup chips I bought just for you.
I knew that. I knew that was
Wow,
coming.
now.
Yeah, I don't think you guys have to move. I think I can just come in and say goodbye. Look,
Okay.
there
Are you
here I
in
am.
there?
I'm in here. We're
I'll
just
give
gonna
you
say
some
goodbye.
rum then.
No, I just want to thank Frances and David and Ugbox for coming and introducing us to their culture and what a beautiful culture it is. Thank you so much. I feel very honored that you would be able to join me in my living room with this. Thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
now.
So you're welcome.
You welcome.
I
Get
love
it
you,
now.
Rebecca.
Love you,
I
Pepper.
love you, bud. You
Yeah.
guys are awesome. Oh, and then Mark says beautiful. Mark, thank you for watching. Mark has enjoyed all of this. I can tell. That's great. Thanks
Thank
everybody
you.
for watching, and we'll say goodbye for now. Well, how do you say goodbye again?
Yeah,
Onagiwahi.
Onagiwahi.
Onigiwahi.
Yeah, till we meet,
Onagiwahi.
till we
Onegi-
cross
Till we
again.
meet again.
Till we meet again. Bye, everyone.
Mhm.